Hello and welcome to TBC, the Board Crew, episode number 6.
666.
Wow, half dozen.
Hey.
I'm your host Ben.
I'm Tony.
And I'm Bronson.
And
Coincidence, this is back to back.
Don't let them see behind the curtain.
It's been a whole week.
How have you guys been?
Fortnight.
This fortnight?
Yeah.
I thought it was 1 month since we last recorded. Sorry.
Yeah. Terrible. Not that we would ever pre-record these things. But tonight
We're coming to you live.
At whatever time zone you're in.
Good morning, good evening, good wherever you are.
How about that recent political event?
Yeah.
Those political people.
By the time you hear about this, who knows?
I don't know. Let's move on to happier too.
Simpler times.
So tonight we're talking about 3 games. We're going to talk about
One Ultimate Werewolf.
and then we're going to go on to Spyfall.
And round it off with some Coup.
Ooh, great
Sense of Coup
stuff.
coming.
So much deception, but don't worry, we're not deceiving you about those 3 games.
Not
Let's
yet.
get into it.
Or are we? Alright, so One Ultimate Werewolf by Ted, and I'm so
Allspot?
sorry for the people whose names I butcher every single time I do this. Yeah, Ted Allspot and Akisha Akui, and I really apologise if I got that wrong. Let me know in the comments what the correct one is. If there's a comment section, I don't know.
I have no idea how we look at comments at this point.
That's fine. We'll get there. We'll sort that in post. One Ultimate Werewolf is a hidden deception game, which is the theme of today, wherever you're listening.
Or is it?
Or is it? Who knows? Where you are all villagers, but one of you is a werewolf. Or maybe not. This is a evolution of another game called One Werewolf. Ultimate Werewolf, everyone gets a card where you are a different person, a standard villager. You could be a werewolf, and then as it progresses, you have people who are crazy or have a death wish. And the way that you determine who does what at what time is there's an app-driven companion with this, who is voiced by
Eric Summer.
Shout out to the Dice Tower on that one.
I'm sure they're listening.
Yeah, friends. We're friends. You know.
I have met them.
I mean, yeah, I've seen your photo with Tom. Yeah, and so you have about 5 or 10 minutes where everyone acts as, well, whoever they are. If you're the person with the death wish, you might be like specific, like over the top, acting suspicious, so people go, "You're the werewolf," and they kill you. If you're the werewolf, you're trying to then deceive other people and pass blame elsewhere. It's a whole game of, if you've ever played a couple of organizations like Among Us when you were in lockdown, alright? Picture that, but face to face with everyone else. So you're not going around doing tasks, you're just giving each other shuffly eyes and being like, "Who's the werewolf? Who's the werewolf?" When secretly, you're the werewolf.
Yeah, so was this game based off Among Us?
No, other way around, I believe.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure this was out long before then, considering that this came out in, drumroll please, 2014. So yeah, this was out before Among Us. But yeah, it's a fun game. If you enjoy deceiving people or not, it's still good either way. The app is really helpful as well. You know, as you're all sitting around figuring out what to do, you'll sit with your eyes closed and says, "Villager, open your eyes now." And it says, and then you can do this, and you might get to swap cards or see something else or look at someone else's card, and then you can start making accusations and stuff. It's a lot of fun. You don't know who to trust, and afterwards you'll play other games and wonder whether people are lying to you or not the whole time.
And it's super fast too.
It is really quick. Well, I mean, it can be or it cannot be, which I've never played a game that's longer than 5 or 10 minutes, because by the end of it you're just like, who's the werewolf? Like, if it's 5 minutes, it's really good to try and get that read off of people. So yeah, it can be a very quick, great filler game if you're
Yeah, I've always played it with a timer, and
Yeah.
so it's always been, everyone's got a point at the end and sort of go, let's hang that person,
Yeah.
because they are it. So,
Have either of you played it without the cards, without the game, like just at a party?
No, I have not. Have you?
Yeah, I've got a fun little story
Oh,
about
here
that.
we go.
Ooh.
Story time with Bronson.
Hello.
unless this is a deception.
Yeah. And we're moving. Oh, no. So. Yeah. No, I won't tease you like that. Yeah, it's stripped back. You don't have all the additional roles. It's just like you've got maybe, depending on the group, but in this one it was large enough we had 2 werewolves, and then the rest were citizens. So it was, at a house party. I wasn't super in with the crowd. I knew a couple of people there, but we were getting into that zone. I'm like, oh yeah, hey, who wants to play a game? And so I was GM for it, which was great because, like, again, I didn't know everyone there, but I knew how to play this game. So
force people to interact with you. Why not?
yeah, and I know
You
what I
will
have to
listen
do.
to me.
Yeah, we're all having fun, right?
Yeah. You do as I say. We're having fun.
Yeah. It was a really good way to cement, friendships there.
It's a good way. That's a great thing about games, is it forces you to interact with people who, if you're a bit awkward, it's like, okay, we'll play this game together. Oh, cool, and then you just start chatting away. Anyway.
Well, I'm really glad you brought up a bit awkward, because I'm a bit awkward at the best of times. More so in this particular situation where I forgot someone's name and just like blanked on them. It's like, and then I had to like really get into the theater of the game. And so I
smoothed it over.
Yeah, I totally smoothed it over and just committed to the bit. So that you've said this has a companion app with somebody else narrating is great for two fronts. One, it means that like everyone gets to play the game because the game master you're not actually, playing, and it's only fun if you like that, or you're avoiding intense social interaction at a party.
People come up and accuse you, are you a werewolf? I just met you, I don't know.
Yeah, can't be me, I'm the game master. Who are you, by the way? I don't know who you are, I've forgotten your name. Oh, no.
That's okay, because I'm the game master.
Yeah, so I mean, sounds cool. I get a bit like, is it worth getting the physical copy? Is it worth getting the game to play it? Sometimes there are games, we've talked about Skull. It's great aesthetically. I love it, and I really rate the design and the physical copy of the game. But it can be played without the physical copy of the game.
Yeah,
I think there are some roles that allow people to swap cards and etc. And so that just works better with that ability of being able to look at physical tokens. Could you mock up your own? Yeah, but I think that's true of most social deduction games.
And we would never recommend bootlegging a game.
No.
I mean, with this particular one, I think the app is so... Eric does such a good job at the voice acting and kind of the cadence that you really want. The tokens are nice, thick, chunky.
The production value is up there with this one.
And the price point is pretty low as well.
Yeah, I mean, last I thought, I think it was $35, which, isn't crazy, but...
That's dollary dues for any of our international...
35 AUDs out there.
Otherwise known as bucks.
Tobias!
Well, actually, what we do is drag in 35 deer carcasses, and they have to be all male.
They've got to be kangaroos. Yeah, do you need it? If you've got a group of friends who you play board games with, I'd say you probably only need one copy.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone needs to own a copy of this game. I love playing it. I don't think I'd actually own it.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy playing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird thing. It's like, I have a friend who has it, and we go around, and it's like, it gets to the end of the night, it's like, should we all go home? It's like, let's just do one quick werewolf, and that's it. It's like, cool.
So it sounds like if you're the board game person in your social group, it's probably worth having a copy of this game.
For sure.
But if you are in a group of other people...
Other board gamers.
Get them to buy it.
Yeah, either everyone has a deal.
Or no one has it.
Yeah.
But no, I recommend it, and it's great, as you said with your story there, if you have people who haven't played or things like that, and, with the companion app and everything, you don't need to explain anything. It's like, one of you's going to be a werewolf, let's go. Deal out the cards, everyone look at your card, now everyone close your eyes, play, boom, and you're in. You've great voice acting, with the whole, like, villager, open your eyes. And it's just like, you know what you gotta do.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, you can do this, in it, you go for it.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend. So recommend playing. And buy it for your group. Buy it for your group. But I mean, to be fair, I've done silly things where I've bought the same game that you have, and I've gone, why did I buy that? It's like, because I like the game so much.
Yeah.
It'll let you play it when I'm not here.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Which
yeah. Well,
I don't.
Yeah, I'll just come into your house and just take it. No.
I mean, according to my version of the universe, it only exists when I'm here. So
Yeah.
I can see why other people would never need anything.
Mm.
I don't know. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. Next game. So, Ben, what are we talking about next?
Alright, so we're going to talk about Spyfall. Spyfall is by Hobby World, a Russian publisher.
I thought it was by Adele.
Yeah,
James Bond. Talk about Daniel Craig. Anyway,
This came out earlier than that. And
We
the
love you.
designer is Alexander Usa. So, Spyfall, this is a game that Jenny and I played when we went over to Essen. I know I'm
wow.
name dropping stuff, but
Ooh.
you know, so we went over to Essen Spiel, the big games there, way back in 2016.
The games
Yeah.
fair. Come on.
Way back in 2016. And so we were going around playing all of these games. Spyfall is the game that stuck with us as we left Essen. We played it with a bunch of people that we had never met before, and we had so much fun that we played probably about 10 games of it before we left. And then we all tried to buy it, and it was sold out. And it took us probably about 5 years before we could get a copy in Australia.
Jesus.
Let me tell you about the game now that I've hyped it right now.
Yeah. The
It went out of print, waited and got it. Jeez, here we go.
Spyfall, the game waiting 5 years for.
Oh, yeah. We were so happy when we got a copy. Anyway, so in Spyfall, everyone will get a sheet of locations. If you don't have the expansion, you're going to get, I think it's 20 locations. I've got the expansion, so there's more. So you get a list of locations. So the locations might be the bank, the spa resort, the polar ice station, a space station, a pirate ship, etc. You deal out to everyone one card, which will say that location that everyone is at. So we all get a card that says polar ice station, except for one person, and they get a card that just says spy.
Ooh.
So the spy has no idea where you are, and no one else has any idea who the spy is. The game works by you just ask each other questions, which can be anything you like. So your question might be, Tony, what's the weather like where we are?
Yeah, it's cold.
And so if it matches where we are, I'll be like, that sounds pretty good. Or Tony might go, I don't know, I'm inside at the moment because I don't really want to go out.
I did not think of that one.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
Because the
I'm
spy...
asleep there right now.
But here's the catch. If at any point the spy can work out where everyone else is, they can say, stop the clock, we're at, I just heard like it's really, really cold. Stop the clock, we're at the Polar Research Station. And if the spy is correct, the spy wins.
So
But at any point we can go, that was a dodge answer. Everyone, I reckon Tony's the spy. Hands up if he is. If I can convince everyone else that Tony's the spy, then Tony has to reveal if he was the spy. We got him. If not,
if I wasn't, yeah.
then the spy wins.
Oh.
Well, I imagine the conversation to try and figure out who's who would be more frigid than an ice station.
No.
So I love
it's a cold case to solve.
I really love Spyfall. The range of questions that you can ask. You talk about, how often would you like to go to this place? Are you having a nice time where we are?
Yeah, and you want to be careful with your answer too, so then you read between the lines of other answers.
Are you here for work or pleasure? Would you bring your mum? Etc, etc, etc. And you're trying to play a bit of a dance, because I don't know who knows where we are, and I'm hoping you can give me something that tells me that you know where I am, like I know where you are, but we're not telling the spy where we are.
Well, the worst thing is the spy's asking questions too, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
so
the
spy's
spy.
like, wow, how much do you enjoy in this location? Yeah, it's great. Okay, it's somewhere that someone's going to enjoy. Got it, yeah. Unless they like the cold. Who knows?
And sometimes the spy's question will give it away, because everyone's like, that's a really weird question for this location. But then occasionally you'll be asking weird questions that seem to have a simple answer, because you know that the unlikely answer is the one that will catch up the spy.
Right.
So the way that the turn actually works is one person, usually the dealer, gets to ask the first question. Whoever they ask a question of then asks a question to somebody else.
Right.
The only rule is you cannot ask a question of the person that just asked you the question. But when the heat's on, you'll find that it keeps just bouncing between a couple of people back to that one person. Sort of like, quick, ask Bronson again. We want to drill him.
Who are you again? What's your name?
Yeah. So if your answers are consistently vague and cagey and you're not giving anything away, you'll find that people will start narrowing in on you and you'll need to give some kind of information up. But of course, then the spy's like lapping it up.
Yeah,
and
just
going
sitting
like,
there, sweating bullets, waiting for someone to...
This game also has a timer. You usually go for 10 minutes per round. If at the end of that 10 minutes, neither the spy or the spy can't work out where we are and people can't work out where the spy is, there's a different number of points. Usually you play over 5 rounds and whoever has the most points at those number of rounds. So the person who names the spy gets extra points, and then everyone else who voted for the spy gets some points if they get them correct. The spy gets heaps of points if someone else gets outed as a spy that was not, and the spy gets some points if they get the location. The spy gets a couple of points if they just remain undetected. This is a really great game. It comes with just little decks of cards that have Spyfall. There's also an advanced variant that you can play after you've played with the same people for a number of times, where each card has on the bottom of it what you are doing at that location.
Right, okay.
And so, for instance, the location might be the fairground, and you're like, wow, I really enjoy this, but actually you're the garbage man at the fairground. So when I ask Bronson, are you having a nice time here? Bronson has to answer as if he was the garbage man.
I am having the appropriate amount of fun.
Yeah. And so it adds...
For someone in my position.
Yeah. So it adds this whole nother layer of, because the person who's going to the bank to deposit their $1 million is very different to the security guard at the bank.
Sure.
Or the bank robber is one of the the people at the bank.
So sorry, does everyone have a specific role in a shared location?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
everyone will be at the bank, but you're the security guard, I'm the bank robber, and Tony's the spy, so he's got no idea what's going on. But the way that I answer the questions as the bank robber is very different to how you're going to answer them as a client.
It almost seems like the variant advanced rule makes it better.
Hot
the basic.
take.
Yeah, well, this is coming up from someone who has never played this game. This is purely just coming into my ears. Anyway. With the basic rule, you can answer however you like. And so then it's like, okay, cool, well, I've just got to work it out. But then it leaves up to interpretation. Is this person, as we said with the polarized place, would you enjoy this place? Most people will go, no. But if someone does love the snow, they go, yes. So,
look, I think
why would you enjoy that? And it's are you then playing the person, or are you playing the person as what they're playing as?
Metagaming and deception.
I mean, sometimes your answers can be most people are pretty unhappy, but I actually really like it.
Right.
Or something like that. Or, actually I'm a bit unusual because I would come here twice a year. Although for most people it'd be once in a lifetime. Whatever your answers, you can cage your answers however you like. The advanced version is a little bit more RP heavy. I think, when we've played it, people are keen to try the advanced version after a number of plays, but I don't think I would ever drop people directly into it. It's quite difficult for people to freeform questions and freeform answers that don't give it away.
Yeah.
So I tried to play this with my family recently. So nieces and nephews going all the way down to 8, and a couple of adults. The 8-year-olds and stuff did it fine. The place we were at was the Crusader Army, which is a weird place that comes in the expansion and probably my least favourite location because it's so different to it. Anyway, my brother-in-law's first question that he asked someone was, so is there a battle going on here?
Subtle.
You're kind of yeah, well, there's only one real answer to that, and it also, no gives away where.
No, there's not. No. I don't see a battle on the card. I see people ready for battle on the card.
No, there's a battle on the card. So it's some people have a lot of difficulty with it's that Dixit kind of thing of I want to give some information but not too much information, and doing that with a dollop of deception makes it that extra bit tricky. So I would really recommend doing the basic version for people until they get into the groove. Right. But even that family one, everyone loved it and they wanted to play another round. So
there you go.
Yeah. So a game like Werewolf, it's a nice little like add-on. It's a filler game. You can round off a night with it. You could insert it in between other games. How about Spyfall? Is it that same kind of game? It seems like there's a little more in it.
So technically with Spyfall you're supposed to play a number of rounds and add up the points at the end. So you should be looking at sort of a 30 to 40 minute game. If you just want to play one round of Spyfall, you could get that done in 10 minutes. Look, I mean, often it's kind of, it falls into one of those ones where, like there's winners, there's losers, but it's more about the fun that you had on the way, rather than, hey, we're going to tally up the points, and at the end of the 6 rounds of Spyfall, Bronson's the winner with 21 points, and Tony comes in second with 18. It's not really that kind of game, even though the scoring does work well for that. Look, when we were playing it at Essen, we were just all laughing, and it was amazing playing with people from different countries that we'd never met. And I think the biggest group of friends in the 12 of us that were playing was a group of 3. And we really got into the groove. So I think the interesting thing about Spyfall compared to a lot of other deception games is it works just as well with complete strangers as it does with sort of people you know. The game doesn't change that much because it's much more about the meta of the locations and stuff. And most of these places are places that you have either everyone has been to or absolutely none of you have been to, like International Space Station or something. Yeah. You're like, ah.
Yeah, it seems like it's a lot. Here we go. A lot better than Werewolf. Like purely because you're talking about a location, you've constantly got something to refer to for your questions. Whereas like Werewolf is like, are you the werewolf? No. Like,
solved.
Yeah, how you got the werewolf? Like it's like that can die very quickly. Of like, I've run out of things, and that's where like the variant characters sort of really needed to make Werewolf pop. But this one, like, it's already popping because you got the location card. So it's like, well, we've got something to constantly refer back to. Like, oh, you should know, what is the colour of the door of this place? And it's like, okay, yeah, righto. But
100%. I think it becomes much more than other social deduction games about playing the game rather than playing the players. You will have to play the players because how cagey or uncagey people will be and so on. That'll all flow into it, but it does take that heat off people a lot. And the spy doesn't have to lie. They just have no idea what's going on, sort of thing, which is easier for some people than, say, Werewolf, where, you're asking someone a direct question and they have to lie to your face and how good a liar they are. The spy's just like, I guess I should bring a hat? Because that's a question we love saying. Like, should you bring a hat?
I've never seen Ben wear a hat anywhere. He's a spy.
That's because we're in the bank, Bronson. You spy!
Am I the spy?
So that
secret. He was the robber. That's right. He was wearing a hat.
Yeah.
That was Spyfall.
Well, I'm going to take over. I'm going to coup this podcast. Coup is a pretty quick game. It's a deception game, much like these other ones were.
Or is it?
No, it is. Ricky Tata is the game designer.
Lovely.
When I first got into this game, I loved it. I really did. The flash, the flavor text, and the design of the game really lean into this like near distant future, Aeon Flux type, like political subterfuge and espionage and influence.
This version that you're talking about is set in the Resistance universe for people that have played the Resistance.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Right. Yeah. I thought the artwork looked very similar.
Very like cool and sci-fi, but not too sci-fi.
Yeah.
It works, I think, better with 3-4 players, but can play up to 10.
I mean, wow. I've got Madness edition that does up to 12, which do not recommend at all. So.
No. Yeah, 3, 4, 5 players, that'd be where I recommend it. 3's going to be a really quick game. 4/5's the sweet spot. There are cards that have different ability. They will make it easier for you to either collect resources or eliminate other players. And the aim of this game is to be the last player with 2 of your influence cards, these special ability cards.
One coup to rule them all.
Yeah, you want to be the last player standing. Each turn you have a few options. The standard move, the one that nobody can challenge, nobody can block you from, is to take 1 coin from the resource pile to add to your bank.
Like a chump.
Yeah, or is it? Actually, I was lying. I'm not a chump. Once you have 7 these coins that look like hexagonal SIM cards, you can perform a coup. And a coup is also another move that no one can challenge or block, where you forcibly eliminate 1 influence from 1 player.
Right.
That means that they can no longer use that card's ability, and they only have 1 card.
If you lose all your cards, you're out.
You're out.
Do you know which card you're eliminating, or is it like, here, I'm holding my 2 cards, and you've just got a blind pick?
Well, hey, if you're getting cooed, then the decent thing is that you get to decide. So when you are the person getting cooed, you get to choose which influence you lose.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's very noble.
Yeah.
Coup.
Yeah, I mean, you're still screwed, but at least you get to choose how.
Yeah. But it definitely matters. There are other cards that do more exciting things, like a captain can actually steal 2 coins from another player. A captain can also block being stolen from.
Right.
Yes.
The way it would work is you have your turn, Tony, and you're like, I will take 1 coin from the middle, like a chump.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I have the captain, and I'm taking 2 of your coins for me.
Right.
You can then say, well, no, I also have a captain, and so I block your captain. At any point, one of us could go, I don't believe you. I challenge that you have a captain.
A challenge.
If a challenge is issued, the challenged
Yeah.
has to reveal that they either
So
do...
you have a hidden player card.
Yeah.
Is that how this works?
You've
Yeah.
got 2 hidden player cards.
Oh, right, and that's
One-
your 2 influence
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And if someone's calling you out, you've got to prove it or lose it.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
If a challenge is issued and you do have that one, then the person who challenged you loses one of their influence cards.
Ooh, okay,
If
right.
you don't, then you lose one of your influence cards.
So that's one way to coup people, is by challenging them for a card they have. But we're like, you don't have this card. Can you freely?
As soon as a player makes a special action,
Saying they have XYZ.
Yeah.
So I could say, I have the Duke, which allows me to take 3 coins from the center.
whoa, that's not a chump.
Yeah.
That's
Now I'm getting triple the coins as you are, and you can't let me just get away with that.
Hang on a second.
I have the Duke.
I've got 2 dukes, and somebody else has a duke that's been eliminated, and there's only 3 of these dukes in the whole deck.
So it's a bit of reading between the lines. It's
There's
like
a little bit of card counting, but you're generally not going to have perfect information.
Do they give you a little card to reference of what all the people are?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is a little character there's the captain, the duke, the
Captain, Duke, Ambassador, Contessa,
And
Assassin.
This is where my joy for the game kind of starts falling apart a little bit. So I don't think the game's super fun if you've got mixed levels on a table.
right.
Because if you're going, I'm the I'm the assassin, yeah, it's a huge giveaway.
Sure.
But if everyone's doing that, less so.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But even when people are confident in bluffing, experienced players will run around them by knowing what to bluff when. So they start off early going, well, I'm the Duke, and I'm just going to take 3 coins.
Because
And-
no
and
Duke's
people
been
just go
eliminated.
like, oh, well, he probably is. It's not worth me challenging it at this stage.
Mm.
And then suddenly you swap, and you're like, well, now I'm the assassin, and I'm going to kill you for 3 coins instead of 7. And the person's going, oh crap, I'm going to lose a thing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, I'm going to challenge them because that way they don't get to kill me.
No, the
But if
assassin
I'm right, and I did have the assassin, then I kill one of yours with the assassin, and you lose the other one because you challenged and got it wrong.
Ah.
So you're completely out.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you're not having fun at this game that I'm demolishing you at? Like,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, look, I agree, Bronson. This is a great game to discover as a group.
Yeah.
To all have fun and learn at the same pace, and yeah, it's a pretty simple bluffing game.
Yeah.
You know, the rules are not terribly hard, the player aids are quite nice, and the art is gorgeous. But the skill difference and the fact that it's player elimination and the fact that it's really in-your-face player elimination too. The only way you get eliminated is because someone comes after you. And because Coup does play best at 3 or 4 or maybe 5, one player is going to get taken out before everyone else. And it's going to be player's choice that makes that.
Right.
So,
Okay.
right, a 3-player game, yeah, there's less stuff going on, but hey, it's not, like, so targeted, because it's like...
I have 2 people to choose from,
yeah. But then when you get into those big player games, it's like, come on, like, why me? Why me?
Yeah.
So I'm going to eliminate one card off of everyone first, and then we're going to go for it. It's like,
No,
you get to
you
be
won't,
nice
because if
you
I
won't
take
get
out
some-
one of your cards, I know you're coming for me, so I'm just going to wipe you out
Yeah.
Right.
before you can get back up, because you're going to have a grudge, and I'd prefer you to be out of the picture. Sadly, that's the best way that goes. And unlike, say, a game like King of Tokyo, where there is player elimination, but you're kind of forced on your targets. You know, you don't get choice of who you attack. It's going to just happen based on the game mechanic. Coup is all in the players decide who they're going to attack.
Right.
And there's no holds barred about who you're going to. So it's always the most advantageous, and it's always... Coup forces you to be mean. Some people thrive on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably best to put that disclaimer in there before you start the game, I'd say.
Yeah, I think you put it really well. It's the kind of game that if you have a regular group and everyone's learning it at the same pace, it's great. You're all going to get a pretty good sense of the game, sense of how people play, and those sort of like, who we going to do this mean or not mean, but it is a game, so don't take it personally. I feel like this game is at its best once you've picked it up and you're not relying on that cheat sheet. It's a good game, but once you have gotten the hang of the deck and counting the cards and the like quant strategies of like, well, if I do this move and that move, then like I'm already too far ahead to ever objectively win. I think it starts losing interest when you know the game too well.
Look, I mean, I've played games with other people that are really experienced in Coup, and there's that interesting, in say a 4-player game, you don't want to be the player that looks like they're coming out on top.
Oh yeah, and that
because,
sort of moves early on.
Yeah, and so there's this interesting game of chicken when no one starts the game for a bit, because if I'm the one that looks like I'm going to make the first strike, then I've got to beat 3 people instead of 1 person, because they're all thinking Ben's like ramping up in power. So you all objectively do bad moves.
So what can you do on your turn then? So you can take a coin,
You
or
can take a coin, you can take 2 coins, but that can be blocked by a duke.
right?
And pretty much someone will claim to be duke when you try and take 2 coins. Take 3 coins as a duke. You can steal 2 coins from another player as the captain.
Yeah.
You can assassinate someone as the assassin. That takes 3 coins. You can block an assassination if you're the contessa. And then the final one is the ambassador, which allows you to block a captain, but it also allows you to trade your 2 cards with 2 cards from the deck. So you draw 2 cards from the deck,
Okay.
put them with your 2 cards, and then put it underneath.
Weird.
So, I mean, even if you can bluff an ambassador, suddenly you've got a whole different thing. You've also seen more cards, which count the cards a little bit more, try and work out how many of those XYZs there are, because there's the same number of each one.
So if you've played the Resistant, would you need to, or vice versa, if you play Coup, do you need to play the Resistant?
No, but I think you'll get some joy out of it, like for seeing familiar characters in a different game.
I think I've played probably Coup about 30 times. I've played the Resistance well over 200.
Oh,
I would
Wow.
recommend the Resistance.
I'm not saying don't buy this game or don't play this game. Like, I think Coup is a good game. I think it has its place in like a player's
Tableau.
Yeah, there's a time where playing Coup is really fun, and then you kind of get over it. But that doesn't mean don't play it. I think just don't invest heavily in it.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you really like mean, in-your-face kind of games, and some gamers really do love that kind of, like, this is the opportunity
who I'm
to
buying
go.
this for.
If you love going for the jugular,
Mm.
and just like no holds barred kind of in your gaming, Coup is a great way to sort of do that in a low stakes environment of a game that will end pretty quickly.
Mm.
In general, assuming you're not doing what we told you not to do and playing with like 6+ players, game of Coup is going to be over in less than half an hour. So even if you're the first person taken out, you're not going to be out for that long before you're either up for round 2 or you're up for another game. For people that want to get their mean on, want to shed some blood, I think Coup is a great choice. If you're a little bit more, I don't like punching other people in games, Coup is going to force you to do that, and so your mileage is going to vary based on
we played it recently at a board game night, which is why I thought I'd talk about it. It had been a while since the last time I played it, so I had these like pretty positive memories of the game. Like, oh yeah, this will be fun, and then we played it again. I'm like, oh, this is just not that fun.
Yeah, and I think
it's not about fun, it's more mean, I guess.
Yeah. And we had very vast difference of skill levels, and it was really obvious. The new players got slaughtered pretty quickly, and you could kind of just see them going, well, that was fun.
Sorry, but we demolished you!
Sometimes I
Sorry,
like
please clean up the blood before you leave.
Sometimes I like to just make a new BGA account with like no ELO, so I can get matched up with these chumps and I can ruin their day.
I've played Coup online. I don't like it on BGA.
No,
this is one that you got to stare them down the eyes
like
and go, do you have the assassin? Like, I might have a little bit of information, but generally it's going to have to go on my gut.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't mind like playing strategy and like quant in that way. I don't mind like going I don't see a face, but like statistically, this move makes no sense. So. No, and not to say that I'm a master of deception in Coup.
I mean, that's what a master of deception would say.
So you're the spy.
There is a bit of a first player advantage in Coup. Not when you're learning it's immaterial, but later on that will make a big difference. Look, I agree with you, Bronson. I think it's a good game to try if you've got some group that has never tried it.
Yeah.
You can have fun with Coup.
Hey, this is a fun game, but you have to be mean for it to be fun.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, you do not get a choice to play defensively.
You are trying to take out the enemy and be the last man standing.
The very nature of that you gain resources to just do an unblockable Coup. And the game also forces you to Coup once you hit a certain number of resources. You can't just sit on the stockpile forever.
It's the other bit, isn't it? Like, oh, I don't want to be mean. We'll just keep taking coins until we just start cooing each other, and then we'll just be done with it.
And that's a boring game as well.
Yeah.
So, the only way to have fun is to like punching people. So that's Coup. Alright, well, that brings us towards the close of our episode. We talked about...
One Ultimate Werewolf.
Ultimate Werewolf.
We talked about Spyfall!
Let the spy fall.
Less than 40 seconds with my
unscripted moment. And we talked about Coup. I feel like we gave some pretty honest reviews about games around deception.
That's true. I mean, we're always honest, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
Am I the spy?
I'd like to vote Bronson as the spy.
But do you like to wear a hat here? Well, I have one question.
Ooh.
Which one would you play if you had the choice right now?
Ooh.
You heard me gush. I do love some Spyfall.
Yeah. Well, in this current situation, I mean, Tony hasn't played Coup. And I need some instant gratification, so...
I was actually going to say... Really?
Yeah. Oh, I love Werewolf, and I've gotten over that anecdote, you know. Plus, this game, it has all the things that'll prevent that situation happening again.
True. I'd want to try Coup purely because of the meanness of it. Like, I've done like the happy ones. Let's try Mame.
Well, there you go. It's a split vote. Maybe we planned this. Maybe we didn't. You'll never know. But till next time, we hope you had fun being bored with us.
Bye.
Bye. Egg on my face at that party. like I'm so confident.
I'm keeping the that's going to be the outro.
Yeah,
Egg on my face
which I was
at that
about
party.
to say, keep that there.
Oh dear.
Egg on my face on that part.